All right, everyone, check it out. So while the battery is fully charged, which really shouldn't matter for a lipo, but we're gonna go ahead. We got the GPS just sitting in the seat. That's so unique. But check it out. We're gonna go ahead. All right, we got it going. A little kick. All right. Okay, go ahead. Just let's see how fast. Let me know predictions, man. What do you think? This is just 2S. Yeah, this is just a little 2S car. Sound like it gets to top speed pretty fast. Man, the sun is blaring right in my... Let's see, check it out. Look at this. It goes down the road really nice. Let's turn the TQI down and let's see. Oh, it's wanting to pull really bad now. Oh, I got the steering trim way over that way. Oh, that's really wanting to go to the left. Wow. Wow, this there we go. I think this thing needed a lot of so still pulling to the right just a little bit. There we go. Huh. Yeah, I saw a video last night. The guy unbox it. He won't I'm having the hardest time. Oh, maybe I just need to keep the T, because with the TQI, I keep saying TQI, that's not what it's called, sorry. They're TSM. See, now look, with the TSM, it's keeping it straight. When I have it dialed all the way down, it's wanting to pull crazy. Huh. I'll tell you, this thing is so smooth though. Still think it just needs a little, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I think it just needs a little bit of right trim. There it goes. This thing is cool. It is cool. All right, let's see. All right, let's see what we got. I always had the worst luck with this dang app. Just really slow for me. 29. 20. Okay. He's a bit slower than what I thought, but I mean, yeah, it doesn't feel the fastest. Okay, so I'm gonna go take it over because I don't want to run it too much on this rough surface. Let's go take it to the tennis court and we'll see if we can't drift and what it's like driving. Actually, before I head over there, let's just do a little, I want to see how it rides in there. It's pretty bouncy like I thought. So there is something I didn't notice at first over here in the front, and you know, when the GoPro's on my head it's hard to tell, but here in the front there's only one spring and it pivots off of here. On the back it actually has a dual spring, so it's a little more pressure, and it does make sense because this car is absurdly back heavy. The CG is about right there. I noticed this when I had it on the ramp spinning, that it was excessively heavy towards the rear, and then when you put the battery in, it's even worse. So yeah, they had to double up the springs in the back for that. But so before we go, do you think the Snap-on, the race car, can jump the Valley of Doom? Can it? I've yet to have a car fail. So let's see. Let's give it a good run up. Let's see if it can jump. Guys, you think you're nuts. You're nuts. There ain't no way I'm trying that. There ain't no way. No. No. It does do a good burnout though, look. I'm probably the only person in the world that's taking this thing in the grass like this. Look, wee! Man, she rips. Not that. Look at how bouncy it is. Yeah, there's no shocks on this thing. There's nothing. But okay, so I brought it out here. This is pretty smooth, so I think this is gonna be pretty good for the tires, and I think there's less chance of it flipping and damaging that body. So let's see. Yeah, so well, the good thing is you saw it right there. It yeah. I think that, yeah, it's something chatters. Probably the front end is very. Oh yeah, it is. So when you take that high turn, the front tire skipping. Oh wow. So yeah, it's not a very practical RC for. I mean, see, if you try to turn it any kind of, see, it doesn't really take much to get that front end to chatter. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, this isn't a car that they designed for the masses. This isn't a mass-produced kind of car for everything, unlike the Rustler, the X-Max, XRT, all those cars. That's not what this was. This was, Snap-on asked them to build this based on a car, because Snap-on started in the 1920s, and this was like a car they sponsored, or maybe they ran, and they wanted to relive their memory, so they asked Traxxas to build a car. And I mean, you look at the shape of this thing, it is so narrow that the engineering that went in behind this thing is absolutely amazing, that they fit what they did in this car. It really is. To stand the motor up and put the spur gear, the pinion and spur up top, and then drive it down through like a drive shaft to the axle. That's ingenious engineering. I mean, you got to give Traxxas credit where it's due. I mean, that was absolutely amazing. And then what they did here with the control arm, they muted, like I showed you earlier, the real control arms that are underneath. They're kind of like a muted. You miss them. You don't even really see them. All you see is the steel control arms, and it makes this thing look so realistic. It does. It just really looks like the real car. I mean, look at the little spinners going by on the wheels. But in the end, it's just not a very practical car. See, there's just no suspension. There's nothing there. There's a little bit here. It's one of these, it looks really cool, but it's not a very good design. Even I was kind of hoping that maybe they would release this as a maybe change the body and kind of release this as something else, but I don't think that's going to happen. And if they do, well, maybe they could use this chassis and maybe make like a 1930s hot rod out of it or something, but they would have to change the suspension up on this, because this doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure that if they did, they would put bigger tires on. That would eliminate that chatter right there, the tires slipping. Oh, whoa. Look at how the front end picks up though when you it's freaking awesome. It's pretty peppy. you know, my Mad Van's just it's a 2S. Would this ever, I mean, no, the Mad Van's way faster. It probably has to do with gearing. I'm pretty sure they geared this thing down because of the little skinny tires that you got, but this, it's a beautiful RC and it's functional. Bottom line, it does work. You can drive it. Is it the best at driving and all that? No, it's not. Obviously you have issues with these little skinny tires turning and that. It's not, you know, the most powerful thing in the world. So I really don't think this is like a driving RC. It's kind of one of those things. Can it drive? Can it work as an RC? Absolutely. I think it's better as a shelf queen and just to look at and be beautiful. And then when you tell somebody, oh yeah, it's remote control, and blow their mind with it, because it just does not look like it would be an RC car. I mean, seriously, when you look at it, it doesn't look remote control at all. Oh. So I'll wait till I get back to the shop and give you my final thoughts, because I really want to sit down and give it some thought. I just want to kind of run this until the battery's dead. So I'm gonna get some nice B-roll of this thing driving right here to add to my other stuff, and I'll see you back at the shop. Almost out of coffee, so we got to wrap this up. Okay, so before I get into my final thoughts, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know, what do you think of this car? Would you pay $1,200, $1,400 for it on eBay? Let me know. So if this was a production car, like they just sold this, it didn't say Snap-on and they called it whatever, 1920s Roadster, and they were selling this thing for $600-700. I believe I saw one video and the guy said his Snap-on dealer said the suggested retail, I believe, was like $680, somewhere around there, which maybe makes sense for a brushless system that comes with a battery and a charger. You got the TQI remote with the TSI system and all that, so you got some good stuff for the most part going on in here. But if this was a production car, I wouldn't recommend it. It's just not a very good RC. It really doesn't do anything that well. It goes forward and back. You can drive it up and down the street, and if that's your thing, I guess that's fine. You can get way cheaper cars. You can get like the Traxxas Rally for a little over 100, and you could drift it and have fun, and it's faster. And that's a brushless or a brushed system. But this isn't a production car. This is something very special, very limited. This was commissioned by Snap-on to, I guess, relive where they got their start in the 20s. Probably sponsored some mechanics and they got their name on the car. I don't think that they actually own the race cars and ran them. It's probably like most stuff, they sponsored them. They gave them tools. They got their name on there. You know, this is where they got their start. And if you look, they've had like pedal cars, models, other things kind of like this. So now they commissioned Traxxas to make an RC car. So as a real RC car, it's not very good, but for what it is, a limited edition, I like it. The attention to detail on this thing is just absolutely amazing. I think that's probably what makes it worth probably the money. $1,200, $1,400, no. But if you can get your hands on one at a reasonable price, kind of like what I did, yeah, I think at that point it's worth it. Just everything Traxxas had to do to make all this work into such a small little platform is absolutely amazing. And I give Traxxas credit for pulling this off and doing a really good job with it. You know, underneath here, the way these control arms are, this is difficult. Let me see. The way these control arms are kind of muted to where you don't even notice them, to where you just kind of see what would be period correct arms that would hold the axles in place. to the steering going on. There's really authentic looking knuckles to the drum brakes, to the knockoffs is the technical term for that. So when they were racing, they would just hit this with a big hammer, spin it loose, put the new wheel on, tighten it up, whack it with a hammer, and get going. You know, this is before they had big air-driven tools and all that stuff. So that's how they got the wheels on and off. This is all really authentic. You know, just putting stuff on here doesn't need like this leaf spring. And I didn't notice initially here, the leaf spring in the back actually works. So they have something here. It looks like a shackle, but it's not. But what it is, there's like a little pivot ball right here that allows that to move without breaking the plastic. Which is why, and I apologize, the videos were long, but there's just so much to take in here. And I didn't want to rush through and miss stuff, which obviously I kind of missed that. But, you know, the design of the motor comes up here, goes to the gearbox. Now, I don't think this is a slipper clutch, and I don't think it would need one. This isn't an off-road car. It doesn't have a lot of power, so I think it's just direct drive. It feels like it. I don't hear any sound. It doesn't sound like a slipper clutch or anything. And I did look. The BL2 motors do have a built-in fan for cooling. And I forgot to check the temperature running. I apologize, but I guarantee this did not get hot. It would have shut down. I was actually running my 4S Creighton out there the same day, just having some fun with it. And I just put in the ESC and didn't have the fan hooked up, and it went into thermal. So it's not a very powerful system. It's not a very fast car. But what it is, it looks authentic and it looks amazing. And, you know, for that, you know, how you want to spend your money, it's up to you. You got to make that decision. I'm just giving you my thoughts and what I see and feel. So for me, if it was just a regular RC car, I would not be happy with it. It doesn't really do anything very well. It doesn't have enough power, like I said, to drift. It's not fast. Oh, I will say too, on the chatter on the front wheels, I didn't have that on the road, and I don't know why I didn't think about that on the scene. You know, I just freestyle everything, which gets me in trouble because sometimes these things get long. But on the road when I was driving it, I didn't notice that chatter, so I don't really think it's gonna be a problem unless you're running it on something slick. But I think it's good. It's kind of show what could happen if you run it on a smoother surface. The tires are really firm, but they feel somewhat sticky. But yeah, guys, it's just an amazing car. They just really did a great job with fitting everything into such a small chassis. Now, initially, I was really hoping they would release this as something else, because I didn't think I'd actually get this one. I really liked this design. I was kind of thinking like one of the 30s T-Bucket Ford Roadster or something like that. But no, I really don't see it, because like I said, it's just not a very good RC, and there's really nothing here for them to put like a real shock absorbers and other stuff on here to actually make it work. I don't know, maybe they will. I don't think. I'm probably guessing Snap-on probably paid a lot of money for the exclusive rights to this chassis and to not have Traxxas use this in any other vehicles. So there you have it. That's kind of my thoughts. As an RC car, not very good, but as a limited edition, something you just can't buy in a store, something that I think is just gonna hold its value, and the attention to detail, it's amazing. So you kind of have to weigh, you know, if you want to use it in an RC car, I really wouldn't. You're gonna ruin the value, and it's just not. You can, if you just want to go back and forth, like I said, the Traxxas, the Trax Rally, like $100, $120 is way more fun, and it's way cheaper, and you can just readily get it. But for what it is, with the Snap-on name and being limited, and just the detail of this thing, it is amazing. It's just amazing looking. But with that attention to detail, sacrifices what it is as an RC. So, but man, it is a beautiful car, and I hope you enjoyed this look at it. I'm probably the only YouTuber out there that ran it at least through the grass. I've seen 3 videos. 2, the people would not drive it. They said they were never going to drive it. The third one, he was driving it around the parking lot, I believe, if I recall correctly. And that was it. I haven't seen any speed tests. I haven't seen actually anybody driving it. So I actually drove it through the grass, and I hope I got a good scare out of everybody when you thought I was going to jump it, man. I hope that got everybody like, oh God, no, don't do that. So I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry that it was long. I broke it into 2 videos so it wouldn't be like an hour-long documentary. And I do kind of yak too much, and I'm working on cutting that down. But for this, I had to, because this is just such a cool, unique car. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, shares, comments, appreciates. Please subscribe. Check out the links down below. I have you some cool discounts and other ways of helping the channel. Helps me bring you this content, so I would greatly appreciate that. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Hope to see you on the next one.